This religion was sent to dominate the world, to wipe out, to take out every other religion.
Islam did not come to coexist.
If you ask the martyr while he's in Jannah, what is your wish? He will say, I want to go back to this world and to be killed in the cause of Allah.
The Muslim world is more violent, almost always, in almost every field and almost everywhere. Nobody talks about it, but you know it. Right now, Christmas markets across Europe are surrounded by heavy security. Why is that? Is it because some Jew might shout Shema Israel and plow a truck into a crowd? Has Muslim immigration made your city, London, Malmö, Paris, Amsterdam, safer for women or less safe? And what about general violence? Violence is measurable. Assaults, robberies, shooting. When politicians say migrants and asylum seekers, do they secretly mean Canadian Protestants? You all know the answer. For many of you, the truth is uncomfortable because the narrative you tell yourself doesn't match reality, so you choose to ignore it. There is a lot to say about the high level of violence in Muslim societies. It's everywhere and on every level. Violence against anyone weaker, women, gays, minorities, children. What is child marriage if not a crime against the weak? Even dictatorship, and every Muslim country is a dictatorship, is a form of violence, a system built on crushing individual rights. But before talking about this violence, it's worth saying a word about the fact that nobody talks about it. I thought about this after watching a conversation between two very famous media figures. One from Britain, Piers Morgan, and the other from the US, Tucker Carlson. Their conversation, in my view, symbolizes why the West is falling and will fall. They simply cannot talk about the level of violence in the Muslim world, or the fact that Islam openly aims to dominate the West, or the fact that there is not a single place on earth where Islam rules and democracy exists. And these two are not leftist, not progressive, yet even they are so wrong it's pathetic. The democratic world, once led by the two great English-speaking empires, Britain and America, is sinking into an ocean of stupidity. It's not stupidity, it's suicide. And of course, Tucker Carlson had to take a jab at Israel.
So you can criticize trainees all you want. You cannot criticize Israel, as you know.
He said you are not allowed to criticize Israel. Right, nobody is allowed to criticize Israel, the most criticized country on earth. You can check the media for how many negative items Israel gets, but you don't even need to. If Tucker just looked at his own YouTube channel, he will see he has criticized Israel more than all other countries combined. Do you know who he hasn't criticized at all? The Muslim world. Not once. There are roughly 50 Muslim countries. Almost none of them have democracy or free speech. Even his rich friends in Qatar have no democracy or free speech, but he never says a word about them. Tucker Carlson says he's a Christian. Out of the top 10 countries where Christians are persecuted most severely, all of them except North Korea are Muslim. There is an ongoing genocide against Christians in Africa, in Sudan and Nigeria, and Tucker says absolutely nothing about it. With Piers Morgan's, it is even more embarrassing. Their conversation starts with Tucker asking what happened to Britain, the country that used to rule the world and is now collapsing. And it is not the sharpest interview from either of them. At some point, Piers says about the immigration crisis, well, at least now we have good food.
If you came to London in the 50s and 60s, the food was crap. Absolute crap.
Well, it was that way in the 80s when I was
Inedible.
here.
Right. Now we have some of the best gastronomy.
Amazing.
London is burning, but hey, it is cold, so the fire is warm. His embarrassing comment about at least we have good food now reminded me of his interview with the Egyptian comedian Bassem Youssef. At the start of the Gaza war, Bassem went viral on Piers Morgan's show, 23 million views. Piers understood the formula, trash Israel, gain views, so he flew for a soft interview with Bassem in the United States. That one got 12 million views. At the end of the interview, they eat pita with olive oil. I've never seen Piers Morgan eat with a guest at the end of an interview. But when the guest is an Arab Muslim, suddenly there must be food.
Olive tree, just two.
That is absolutely delicious.
Because what is Piers going to say? I love how your culture treats women. I love how your culture treats minorities. I love how your culture treats gay people. No. When he has nothing to say, he defaults to,
That is absolutely delicious.
I know.
what shocked me is that after 2 hours of sitting across from an Egyptian man, Piers offered zero criticism of Egypt. None. Nothing about a country that kicked Bassem out because it has no free speech. Nothing about the fact that in Egypt, roughly 80% of women undergo, yes, they are that barbaric. Don't believe me? Check it. Nothing about the abduction of Christian women and girls and selling them to rich Muslims. Bassem complains he can't visit his family in Gaza, but Egypt shares a border with Gaza that has nothing to do with Israel. Yet Piers has zero awareness, zero critique of the Egyptian Muslim society. All he has to offer is,
That is absolutely delicious.
I know.
the high levels of violence in Muslim societies are visible everywhere. Look at Muslim majority countries. Almost zero democracy. A vast majority are dictatorship, absolute monarchies, military regimes, and you have to understand something basic. Dictatorship is violence. It is not just curfew and banned protests. It's a system built on fear, arrests, torture, disappearance, draconian laws, and look at the treatment of women. In many Muslim countries, women are practically property. They need a male guardian. They can't move freely. They can dress as they want, and they don't have basic rights. That's not tradition. That's violence written into law. And LGBT people, in much of the Muslim world, the punishment is death, hanging, stoning, or imprisonment. And the violence isn't just against minorities, women, gays, or children. It is also against Christians. We must mention the genocide happening right now in Nigeria and Sudan, because Piers Morgan, Tucker Carlson, and Candace Owens won't. And you see the violence inside Muslim world as well. Hundreds of thousands killed in Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Libya, not because of colonialism, but because the violence is embedded at every level. Now look at Western Europe. Is multiculturalism working? The data tells different story. In Sweden, Germany, France, the Netherlands, Austria, Belgium, you find the same pattern. Significantly higher rates of violence crime among immigrants from Muslim backgrounds. Take Sweden. For decades, one of the safest countries in the world. Since the big immigration wave, which started in the 1970s, Sweden has become a hub of explosions, gang warfare, and violence that never existed there before. In Germany, police repeatedly report that people of Muslim origin are involved in violent crime at rates far beyond their share of the population. Sexual assaults, knife attacks, street fights, crime in no-go zones, including whole neighborhoods in Berlin, Düsseldorf, and Dortmund, where police barely enters without heavy gear. These aren't coincidences. They are the creation of many societies importing their home norms. In France, 60% of prisoners are Muslim, while Muslims are about 10% of the population. That's not racism, that's statistics. And the statistics says something about the level of violence in the society they come from. Honor killing, now I don't like this phrase, let's call it what it is. Women killing, revenge, an inability to resolve conflict without force, and a macho, violent culture. The Netherlands, 20 years ago, it was one of the safest, calmest countries in the world. Today, neighborhoods in Rotterdam and Amsterdam have crime rates among Muslim immigrant youth many times higher than those of the local population. Dutch police openly talks about imported violent culture. Belgium, Brussels, and Molenbeek became symbols of Muslim gangs, shooting, drug trade, and terror networks. Again, second and third generation, not poor refugees. And across all these countries, there is also a massive rise in sexual assaults committed by migrants from Muslim countries. Germany saw the worst example, the Köln New Year Eve attack, when large groups of men of Muslim origin sexually assaulted hundreds of women. European media tried to hide it as much as possible. Same story in Britain with the grooming gangs. Put the whole picture together. The dictatorships, the oppression of women, the persecution of minorities, domestic violence, community violence, and the crime imported into Europe. And the conclusion is clear. The violence isn't an accident. It is not random. It's the direct outcome of the social, political, and religious structure of much of the Muslim world. If you disagree, prove me wrong. Write to me. I'm from France, Belgium, Ireland, the Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Austria, and in my country, the Jewish community is more violent than the Muslim community. In my country, mosques need protection because Jews might attack them. Let's see if any of you can prove me wrong. And what do Muslims say while Piers Morgan says, I like the food? Just listen to them.
We don't say that Islam is here to live, to coexist with lots of different religions and all of us can just hold hands and be friends. This religion was sent to dominate the world. It was sent to be superior, to extinguish the light of every other religion and to be superior to it. We're not shy to say it, and we don't find that to be something that we should be shy to say. That this religion has been sent to dominate, to wipe out, to take out every other religion, to eclipse it, to be superior to it, to have the people leave every religion and to accept Islam. And if that requires fighting to achieve it, then it requires fighting to achieve it. Because the greatest purpose for which jihad was legislated is to make the word of Allah the highest and the word of those who disbelieve the lowest.
They always can come with the same accusations. This speaker supports death penalty for homosexuals. This speaker supports death penalty for this crime or that. He is homophobic. They subjugate women, etc., etc., etc. It's the same old stuff coming all the time. And we always try to tell them, I always try to tell them that, look, it's not that speaker that we're inviting who has these extreme radical views, as you say. These are general views that every Muslim actually has. Every Muslim believes in these things. Just because they're not telling you about it, or just because they're not out there in the media, doesn't mean they don't believe in them.
Slavery is not something that Muslims should be ashamed of. Slavery in Islam is true. Prisoners of wars, non-Muslims, disbelievers, we enslave them. Oh, this is against human rights. This is human rights. How? He is a slave. He's like an animal being sold and bought and not having.
Unfortunately, these days we don't repeat this enough, or we don't have this aqidah concept firm in our minds that Islam did not come to coexist. Islam Islam la yu'la. Al-Islam ya'lu wa la yu'la alayh. And Islam is raised high and nothing is raised above Islam. We can't think of Islam that it came to live with these other religions, in the sense that Islam is a religion amongst those religions and they have a share with the truth. And they have a share of justice. And they have a share of, this worship of Allah, the correct worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam came to correct all of that.
This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be upon, of Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home.
They didn't come to assimilate. They came to conquer, to bring Afghanistan, Yemen, and Syria into Britain and Germany. Check out my other videos about Islamization. These Islamists represent the majority. Think about it. Why don't you see protests of Arab Muslims against child marriage in Paris or London? There is a new law in Iraq that girls can marry at the age of 9. Where are the feminists? Where are the Muslim communities in Europe? Not a beep. That's why Muslim countries look the way they do. Muslims support this. The fact that Muslim society is more violent in every field is just an undisputed fact. The fact that the West doesn't want to talk about it and do something to protect Western civilization from Islamization is another fact that must be changed, and fast. You can't solve a problem if you can't talk about it and define it. And the name of the problem is Islamization and the violence of Muslim society. You don't need security around Christmas markets. You need to face reality instead of hiding behind barriers. You're welcome. My next video will be about one of the most violent crimes that the Muslim authorities committed, the destruction of the holiest Jewish site, the Temple Mount. So make sure you subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, because as you can imagine, videos like these are not getting monetized, the truth is too much for YouTube. To get money from videos, I need to say things like,
That is absolutely delicious.
Anyway, if you want to support my channel, you can get my Jerusalem Crash Course. Everything I say when I guide in Jerusalem, all the videos, all the places, all the insights from some of the most important sites of Western civilization. This way, you get smarter and you help me make more videos and translate them to more languages. The link is below. See you in the next one. Yalla bye.